Yep, it is definitely not focused. There we go, looking at that. So we've already got the head built, which came out really good. No panel lining or anything on it, just painted for now. We're going to do all the panel lining probably together here for this. So tonight we're going to actually work on the torso in general. So that's going to mean this backpack here, the torso itself. We did already paint the emblem that goes, or the gem that goes in the center. We're going to be painting this, finishing that up. These pieces will need to be painted with that ivory topping and then white over on top of that. And I think I've thought about it, but I don't know if we might need to, but we're going to paint this the same color as the backpack itself to match up specifically with the rest of the metal pieces. I haven't committed to the frame yet. I'm still debating with myself for that specifically. So we are going to need to pop this. We didn't glue this or anything, so we're actually going to leave this intact overall while we paint it. But we're going to use a technique that I mentioned about last week specifically. We're going to get started with it. We're going to, as a matter of fact, I've got masking tape that is the correct size. So we're going to create some masks for our Gundam piece here to really help out with it being positioned well. Because we want those, I want all these pieces right here, these green pieces that are going to be in the inside of the suit. I want those to be all the exact same color to make it once again look like it's one whole unit. And so in order to do that though, we're going to need to paint them. And so we're going to paint them with and this is kind of going to be for the whole thing, but we're going to need our navy blue tonight, our gold and yellow, oh that's not yellow, our gold and yellow mixture, ivory primer, gray primer, and just a dash of black primer tonight. So we're going to have 3 primers here rocking and rolling to make this happen. We're going to need clear green in addition to that. And then final thing to throw in there as well is some lights for just straight up steel. This is a steel color. I'm going to use that for our backpack and our shoulder units as well. We are going to, however, though, do those pieces with a black primer though, so it makes that steel just a little bit darker. It's not going to be too much. The steel color does lay over pretty well, but it's going to be enough that we'll definitely be able to see it. So, excuse me for even being a little bit late. Had to finish up with some Dark Souls before we jumped on today. Not going to be a Vessels for Souls without actually killing some things, so alright, so that's what we're going to be throwing down tonight with. Looks like a lot of different colors here, and maybe it kind of is, but it should be done actually pretty quickly as well. Oh, I forgot my white. Can't paint white without the white. So, but yeah, so that's what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to cut some things out as soon as I can find them. Actually, I thought I had them ready and to go specifically, and now I can't find them. Yep, I just seriously can't find them right now. I brought in my masking tape from the nether realms of the garage, and now I can't seem to find them. That's always the case. I should have prepped better for it so I'm not wasting your guys' time. But I'm going to go ahead and hop into it so that way we can be quick here. Oh, I forgot another piece of the torso. This is actually needing to be painted as well. We're going to do this red. Gray primer, straight up, red on top. Just straight red. So let us go to it. It's almost about time for me to swap out the gloves. There's a lot of paint on this one though specifically. What's up, Evo Mikey? Good to see you drop in tonight. And alright, let's no particular color pattern tonight, just gonna go to it. Start out with the bigger brush in general. Give it a nice little cleaning. You can see those black striped lines in there. Those are not supposed to be there. Those are leftover residue from the paint. Happens every single time. Gonna be quick and clean in a matter of seconds. Man, everything seems to be missing tonight, and I'm not liking that. My kids decided, well, excuse me, they didn't decide to. I asked them to clean up, and maybe they cleaned up a little bit too well. Moving things around. Alright, well, I got my Q-tips right here. We're just going to go with the Q-tip method. I like to have it on a rag. Oh, there's my rag. Got it. Alright, let's get this up and going. Cleaning off my needle first. Got some actual damage to my cutting mat this past time around with my solution that I was making to set for some other Gundam parts. I actually got it on there and you can see some of the lines got peeled off and everything right here from it. So here we go. Clean that up. Grab my brush. We're going to jump straight in with a little bit of black primer. So I'm going to paint everything that is going to be the black primer first off. And then we're going to go from there. Once again, just a little bit of black tonight. Black primer, that is. We are focusing on parts that need to be silver, parts that need to be metallic. Black is a great primer set for it. The black primer also seems like it goes forever and lasts for a long time, so definitely if you can get your hands on some across the board there, whether it's Vallejo or other colors, I highly recommend doing it. Plus, if you thin out your colors well enough, you'll see the bleed effect, and that'll really help out. Having some really cool setups across the board. Alright, you're going to paint this whole thing nice and black. I'm actually going to take off these thrusters for the time being. And, oh, I need my newspaper. I am not looking to get this mat any more messed up than it already is. And here we go. Move all these out of the way. Nice clean finish already over it. Just as black primer also adds a nice really depth effect as well. I think we talked about it before, but it's especially those parts in there, we're not going to be able to get all the actual paint inside of there, so it's really going to help out to look really, really good. Add some clips here. Painting these steel as well. I'm leaving these PC pieces connected. PC does not like to really be painted in many instances, so I'm going to just kind of work around it, but no doubt that it's going to leave some stickiness per se. I'm already empty? Nope. Stuck in there. I should have sprayed the brush with cleaner before we started painting tonight. Common mistake. Go ahead and clean it up a little bit here. Yeah, because if you can see, the needle's actually kind of black, so I'm using that Q-tip, and you can see right there, it's coming off. There we go, we should be pretty good now. Putting my nozzle cover back on. I might actually be out. Oh yeah, I am out. How about that? Clean that nozzle for no reason. I did only put like a few drops in there. Black usually goes a really long way. I guess I was a little bit heavy on the backpack. There we go, yep. We're all good now. Still being a little bit heavy in general. There we are. I'm putting these off camera just because they're drying. There's no big deal there. It's not like you want to see paint dry. That's not why you came here tonight. Getting this all painted up. I'm not going to focus too much on the PC piece. Just enough so, because most of it's going to be inside anyway. So there we go. And then one more PC piece specifically. One more full solid gray. Alright, there we go. All those pieces are handled. We're actually gonna, so this torso, because I'm gonna paint some silver, or chrome, excuse me, specifically. I'm going to go ahead and we're gonna paint some of it. Not gonna clip it because for one, I can't find a good spot right now to grab it, but two, we're only doing these small sections right here on each side. So we're gonna be very, very simple with our blow. That's it. And whatever is there, though, we are going to cover up with the gray primer too, though, so it's going to be totally fine. But that's it for our black primer tonight. So give me a second to return back. I'm going to go ahead and get this brush cleaned up so we can actually proceed to our lighter colors overall in general. Thanks for your patience. We're back here, cleaning out our brush the rest of the way, just putting in some airbrush cleaner. It's pretty clean in the first place as well. This is why I don't put a lot of drops in there, to make that cleaning a little bit quicker. Gonna give it some back push here real quickly. Cover up the nozzle, cover up the paint can, and then brush it all out at that point. Alright, moving Wing Zero's head on over. We've got the next piece that we're going to be doing specifically is going to be the shoulder pieces. They're going to be white in general, so we're going to paint them over real quickly with our ivory. No more than probably like 3 drops here is going to be required for it. Believe it or not, the hardest part for these is going to be clipping these onto something. I'm going to give it 4 drops. 2 drops each side should be plenty. Yep, already brushing out smoothly. Yeah, there's like nothing to grip there for this one. So what to do when you have nothing to grip for your alligator clips? Sometimes it's good to have a toothpick on hand to stick in there, but this is still even too wide. This is too wide for that as well. So we're going to do a different method. We got a little grabbing point right there. That's what's used to help lift it up. So we're going to paint everything around that, and then I'm going to hold the back part to paint the front just a little bit. So that's how we're going to have to paint this one specifically. Kind of hard. It's definitely hard even in person to see the ivory paint, so I can only imagine how hard it is for you guys to see it as well. But here we go. Gonna be working on the other one now. All right. We are going to give it a second here to dry before we actually put it into our hands and grab it ourselves. Is that a phrasing moment? Alright, it doesn't need very long. The acrylics dry pretty quickly, but there we go. I'm going to leave it, just place it down by hand. There we go. Okay. Ivory is now done. So we're going to clean this out a little bit. Just blowing it straight on out. And then we're going to use our rag to kind of dry that up just a little bit. Make sure you have a, in this case I have a cloth I'm going to throw away. I ran out of shop rags. I need to go buy some more. Stores are just closing at awkward times, considering I got out of work kind of late, close to 7, so a lot of stores are closing still kind of early in New Orleans right now. Not enough manpower apparently. Alright. There we go. Clean, clean, clean. So we got our ivory primer done, black primer done. Alright, so this is gonna probably be the biggest, actually, yeah. How do I want to do this first? Just had a moment of pause here. I do need to use some, we're just gonna go straight gray primer. Because we're gonna paint our red and our yellow stuff right now. But we're not going to paint our blue yet. Even though the blue is going to be with the gray primer as well, we're going to hold off until we actually paint the chrome and the clear green. I am going to separate these parts though, and we're going to paint them individually. Because there's going to be some gap in between it, and we want to make sure that it's the same red when you look in between it as well. Don't need to paint the PC part. I recommend not doing it as well, unless you need to tighten it. So weird. Tightening a piece requires you to paint it sometimes. But it is, as you can see, the resistance I had taking it off. It's got plenty of tightness already. Alright, there we go. That first one's painted. Still got some paint in the tube. Thursday's coming up. Thursday's coming up. Arc Fray, yeah. But today is Gundam Wingsday, though. That's where we're at now. We're at Gundam Wingsday. Alright, there we go. There we go. We are going to need a few more drops. I thought I was going to be able to take care of it with just 3, but we're going to need a 4th. Well, you never want to settle for just 1 drop. You always want to put at least 2 in. At least 2. Try not to max out above 5, and that's the reason being is because it's easier to clean that way as well. You can always once again add more paint, but like it'll start getting up in this upper ring area, and that makes it just harder to clean. So we are a little bit heavy there on my initial blowout. Try not to do too much. I don't want to make it too thick. Yep, there we go. That looks pretty good. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. All right. Most of our gray primer is done. We still need to paint this gray primer, but we're going to hold off on that for now because we still need to do our silver. Man, we are busting through these colors like it's nothing tonight, which is fantastic. And that's actually kind of what you can get with the high grade. The parts are smaller, so that allows for it to be like really have a fast progress with working on these builds. So it really helps out to move along. Real grades have a lot of parts, which makes it really fun. And also because there's a lot of parts, there's a good amount of like color accuracy from the start, and actually even some fun added colors too. So in all honesty, some of them don't need a lot of painting. I do see that they have a lot of merit with painting them though, especially because real grade parts tend to be loose. This helps them make them really tight in general. So painting them, even painting their frames, can be very beneficial. I painted my Sisazbi and Shinaju frames, and those ones have excellent posing ability after painting it. Straight builds, maybe not as much. So master grades though, they've got great posability though. They're very strong, so I don't recommend actually painting their frames unless you're looking to get a specific, like I would go with like a hard lacquer at that point because it's scratch resistant, or the Tamiya like gunmetal looks really awesome as a frame color and does very little for scratching as well. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get started actually on my 2 pieces right there to get them set correctly. Reason being is because we want them to solidify and dry as much as possible before we actually tape them off. We're not looking to pull any paint, but we are going to have to mask those, and we are going to then paint the rest of that blue as well. So this is not going to be reverse washing, this is just straight up masking that we're doing here. I would actually not recommend doing a reverse washing for this because you have to do so many colors as well. So it's very high likelihood that you would remove the paint that was on it from ahead of time. So here we go. Gonna just easily paint over this with the chrome just so it's nice and solid. Try not to get too much of the model. There we go. That's it. That's all we need for that. And now we are going to pull out, this is my smaller 0.2 millimeter needle, so it allows for, especially clear colors, to spray out real smoothly. It's a little bit harder to clean though. The way you can really tell whether or not your airbrush is great or not is what's the polish look like on the inside of this. A really good polished inside of the airbrush for the paint chamber really makes for easy cleaning. The Iwatas have fantastic polishing on the inside. which makes it great for easy cleaning and paint distribution as well. So that's why they are pretty top of the line, and yes, you do spend a pretty penny on them, but they can last you, and you don't need to buy like a bunch of them. Alright. This is a wild card. I normally say, once again, 2 to 5 drops, but these are kind of in that range. I always pretty much start with 5 drops, excuse me, across the board there. Especially since Tamiya needs a little bit more thinning in order to be used in the first place. 2 drops is actually pretty thinned as well. I pre-thin my Tamiyas pretty much across the board there. Alright. And there we go, we got our green hollows right there. And so once again, we're going to let this dry. This is going to be the last thing we're going to come back to at the very, very end of the night tonight. And give it its final touches with, we're going to mask it off using the stickers specifically. I'll show you how to do that. We're going to mask it off using the stickers specifically, and then we're going to paint the entire rest of this though as well. So we should, once again, we'll finish this torso tonight, including the backpack element as well. Now I can't let this sit. I hate letting this sit as well because it's so much harder to clean up. So I will put this on pause just for a brief moment, guys, so I can go ahead and clean these 2 brushes real fast. Give me just a moment. Alright, we're looking to finish cleaning up these brushes super fast here, because I'm excited to get to those actual other colors as well. Start snapping some things together. Wing Zero's been apart for too long. So, to kind of give you like what's going to go on with my Gundam Wing collection. I'm a big fan of Gundam Wing in the first place. So what we've got coming up next, so any master grade you can think of from the Gundam Wing series, I pretty much have it. Now these are going to be Bandai specific, so I have all the Bandai version, no Supernovas or anything at that point. But even for the Endless Waltz series, I've got all 6 of them. Wing Zero Custom, the version Ka, which I was super pumped when I saw that it was coming out. Death Scythe Hell Custom, Heavy Arms, Sandrock, and Ultron. Thank you Bandai for re-releasing them last year and making them affordable prices. Oh, excuse me, and I also missed one. Tallgeese 3. Tallgeese 3. Actually, that's a beautiful box art. I can't wait to show that. On the high grade side, though, I do have all the ones that's come out. So I've got the Space Leo specifically. I like the Space Leo. I like that backpack in the purple color too. And then I've got the Mercurius and Vey 8. Man, that was such an awesome release this past year. And then Wing Gundam, Death Scythe, Heavy Arms, and Sandrock to finish it all off. They haven't made out Shenlong yet, which I am super stoked for when they do. That's supposed to be going to be coming out next year. And so we're going to have the full original 5 high grades. I've got most of the master grades already built. I'm about halfway through. I've got Epion, Tallgeese 2, Ultron that I custom made, Wing Zero, Death Scythe Hell, Shenlong, Wing, and Death Scythe that we are been working on Sundays. So, yeah, I did see that the so question posted in here. Did you see about the Unicorn Nikes? I sure did. My brother is a sneakerhead for sure. And he sent those to me as well. I'm all about the Banshee. I like the black or that dark navy blue in addition to that, so that's really good stuff. Curious, go ahead and post in our chat here. What is your favorite Gundam wingsuit? I'm very, very curious as well. And not only that, but why? Is it the pilot? Is it the suit itself? Its specifications? What have we got? What have we got? What's your favorite Gundam wingsuit? Myself, I'm a big fan of like original Shenlong and Wing Zero. Wing Zero. As soon as I saw Wing Zero, I was absolutely over the moon for it. And a really other two are, man, I keep mentioning them all, but Tallgeese 3 and Epion. The heat rod is just such a big selling point, and then Tallgeese is just amazing. And so when I saw the third one, I was just, oh, it was done. You gotta go see it. If you haven't seen Gundam Wing, this is the time to go see it. The HD collection. Actually, I have no problem with the dub version as well. I think the dub version sounds great. It's just that, I mean, no matter which way you look at it, Wu Fei doesn't have great dialogue written for him, both in English and in Japanese. But outside of that, all the characters are pretty refined. They're pretty unique in general. Troa goes, excuse me, not Troa. Catra is his name. Catra is a character, and he goes a little bit crazy, which is pretty awesome. You don't normally see that for one of the main characters. So, I like the idea of the Gundam team that they have there in addition to it, so go give it a watch. I'm sure you'll like it. Alright, just doing a little bit of white here. To get started with, I'm going to start with white. Then we're going to work our way up to, let's see, we're going to go white. We're going to go yellow. Oh, excuse me, no, we're going to, wow. White, gray, yellow, gold, and then finish up with red for our colors. Choosing those colors specifically because that way we can stack upon each other. Ooh, that's a great question. So the question here in chat is there a streaming service that it's on right now? If anybody knows, drop it in there. If not, I'm pretty sure Crunchyroll has it. Oh, no, it's on Hulu. It's on Hulu, both in English and in Japanese. So, great soundtrack as well. So, the series, good time. Once again, go with the look that Trace and Zek set up the whole thing. And you're going to have a great time. Good show. Good Gundam. Just good Gundam in general. So now that I painted it, the clip is actually not holding it. So I'm going to have to just do it all by hand. Fortunately, once again, this paint dries super fast, so there we go. This one is holding. There we go. Gonna drop it. Alright, those are all painted up. Our white is all done. I'm gonna throw in some airbrush cleaner just to get out what's in there. I am just cycling through the same brush for this so far. All these colors are pretty easy to paint, the yellow being the exception. I just hate painting yellow, guys. I mean, that's just what it boils down to. It just sucks to me. But it is a little bit better when you're using a smaller nozzle, so, and it's thinned out, so it works pretty good there. We are going to jump on over to our gray, or in this case, it's listed as, we're gonna have it listed as steel. Dropping in 5 drops. And you can see how it's got a little bit darker effect, which is awesome. You can see how the primer bleeds through with this and makes a nice, good darker steel versus just what it is. And then if you can see it, the lighting may show it, may not. I actually have a hard time seeing it straight on. Let's see if I'll put the light right over it directly. You can see that all the panel, like all the lines on the inside are actually detailed well enough. Literally just from spraying it with the black primer and then going over with its color. You don't have to be too heavy on the brush here either. Metallic colors come out pretty easy. And I definitely like the bleed effect that happens when you just thinly put it on. There we go. 2 more pieces to go. Alright, all painted up. Now the same pattern you're seeing here, I've got to do for every single suit in this series. So all the yellows are going to be the same, all the reds are going to be the same. For the most part, all the blues are going to be the same. So that's why I, like when I decided those things, like that's what's going to be for the next. Oh good gracious, how many suits is that? Mercury Survey 8, Leo, and then the 4 Gundams, so we're looking at 7 high grades to do with this exact same pattern set. But yeah, I actually used, so I put in 5 drops there, barely used anything as a matter of fact, so that's why sometimes 5 is too much. I'm going to drop down to the thinner brush though, so I can actually paint my yellows. Specifically. My yellow seems pretty thin. I've only got to paint one thing yellow. And then right after yellow is going to be the gold overlay. And make sure it's spraying out well. Yep, coming out nice and clean. Oh. My newspaper's wanting to come up. There we go. Yeah, that's spraying nicely. I thinned it out before we actually started painting today as well, so I can use it with my finer brush here. And the reward is great. Yeah, the trade-off is fantastic. Oh yeah, that is a nice, beautiful coat over that. And so now I'm actually going to just clean this out, clean out the yellow that I have in here, and jump over to the gold. I see some people got a new haul in, so congratulations on the haul. Super pumped for you. Always post up your hauls in Discord. That is a very welcome thing. Not looking to make anybody jealous. We're just loving to see what you got. Yeah, so show us what you got in the mail. Throw it up in Discord. Love to see it. And soon to be had is going to be the where we're at with Death Scythe from Gunpla and Chill. Actually, this music's a little bit loud. And I apologize, guys, if that's been too loud for you all. There we go. There we are. I actually had a lot of yellow in there. That's super surprising. So, but it's pretty much out now. It does take longer to clean up the smaller brush if you're just trying to spray it out like this, just because it's a smaller needle head. So, that paint does last quite a while. So I move out the needle completely to really allow it to shoot out as much of it as we can. So I don't need to do too heavy cleaning on that right now because gold is a color that can definitely go right on top of yellow. So just going to put literally no more than 2 drops here. Doesn't need to be super heavy. But it is going to look good afterwards. The yellow coat in the first place will really set the precedence of how this is going to look. Yeah. Nice shimmer. It's almost like a metallic yellow in all honesty. But I guess metallic yellow is gold, isn't it? There we go. Look at that. It's a nice good color. Once we put the green orb gem in, or half gem, it's gonna look real good. And I'm gonna be ambitious and do it right now. Look at that. There we go. There's your centerpiece right there. All right, one more solid color to paint tonight, and then we are onto the big bad blue. But this is going to be a cleaning time though as well for the reds, to prep for the reds. I just got a lot of paint left over from both of them, so I'm going to go ahead and clean them real fast. So stay tuned. We're still once again doing really good pacing with our time right now, so we'll see you back in a second. Enjoy the music. Alrighty, let's move forward. Time is precious now. We may even go over just a little bit here, so we can finish up this torso piece. I wanted you guys to see how it's done. We are probably going to be done with this one brush though. I'm not going to give it a deep clean, but you can't let the paint sit in there, so got to give it something. Gotta give it something. Okay, I'm going to take out the needle. Blow out the chamber one more time for what's in there. Full blast. And then clean it one more time. Not a super deep clean, but that'll definitely get it ready for next time. The brush that we are going to be using a lot though, we want to make sure it's going to be fairly clean to be able to accommodate our red. Red does bleed with especially the metallic color I had in there, so had to get that out. Yep, that's what would have bled with all that red. Clean it out with our Q-tip. We also let that sit in there a little bit long so we could switch colors on the other brushes. So, and it does dry just as fast as it dries in the piece. It dries in the chamber as well. So, things to always mention and look about. So there we go. There we go. All cleaned up. Let's get that red painted so we can get to blue tonight. I dropped in 4 for it. Let's go ahead and give it a spray, see how it looks. Yeah, that'll be great. If I'm not mistaken, it's a nice solid red color. on the kit itself, or in the show. The show is what I'm basing my color schemes off of in the first place. Versus it being a little, I think the paper has it being a little bit darker. I think they add like 1 drop of blue in there in the color pamphlet. But who knows best, the color pamphlet or your own personal eye? I like to rely on my own skill for it. Not because they're wrong, it's just that I usually tend to have better colors than they do. Specifically, like Epion, the color scheme that they had for it in the Master Grade was totally off. Actually, it's very, very fuchsia. What is it, magenta based, and it needed to be darker. So I really wish. Actually, I would die for an Epion high grade. I've already got a Master Grade done for him. I kind of would like to do another one, as a matter of fact, make an all white Epion. Epion Ares. But I haven't committed to that yet. That would be you need to do a kit bash there to make that Gundam specifically. Alright, we got our reds painted. Actually, I need to get inside there one more time. Got our reds painted across the board there. And we are pretty solid. Alright, there we go. Gonna clean out this brush, get ready for the gray. Oh, gonna clean out the brush just a little bit. We are getting ready for the gray, but the thing we need to do first is to mask off our pieces that we're gonna be painting. And I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do that. So we're not going to use just straight tape. Unfortunately, it's doable, it's possible, but I don't like the possible harm that we could actually do to the piece itself. The reason why I say that is because the tape is definitely not that thin. And since it's not that thin, we need to do something just a little bit different. So the method I'm going to use here is we are going to cut out, and I'll describe it as well. So we're going to cut a piece of tape off first. We're definitely going to start there. This is 3mm tape. Don't need too much, it's not big pieces. But what we're going to do here is we're going to actually take off the hollow foil sticker and put it on the tape. We know that this is the exact dimensions, thank you Bandai, for it. I'm going to line up the best I can to do as few cuts as I need as well. Line this up. So let me get a little bit closer there, because that is quite difficult to see by itself. Give it just a second. It's focusing. So as you can see, so this is 3mm tape. I'm going to cut down this way first, and then I'm going to cut across up right here with it, using this as my guide. This will stick really, really well, and so this will be great even for your more complex stuffs, like these ones as well. These are a little bit more complex masking, specifically, but yeah, so you just paste that up, you just put it on the tape itself, and I'm literally going to leave it on the hollow film itself as well. There's my mask. It looks no different than the actual part itself. Super tiny. So I'm going to put it into place. We should be dry enough now. So it looks like I'm building the kit, but it's going to be so much easier to come off, and you're not risking pulling off the paint though too. So it's a really solid piece right there of masking. Gotta do it one more time. This also helps out if you have round parts or round maskings to do as well, because your X-Acto knife allows you to bend with it additionally. So we just need to cut this way. There we go. It is all off now. Now we're masked up, we're ready to paint. So let's go to it. We need gray specifically for this. We're just going to use a gray primer, that special Imperial blue from Game Color on top of it. It's going to look sharp. However, though, I do want to make sure that I get all my red out of here because red will bleed through into the gray and even the blue as well. So you can see, yep, there's still some more red in there. Still some more red. Now it's important though that you do not use the foil stickers as your mask by itself. The foil stickers will indeed rip it off. It will rip off paint. I have seen it do it. Which, kudos to the adhesive for when you do use it, but man, that sucks as well. Alright, we're leaving this all intact. Specifically, we're going to try to find some way to clip onto it. Probably just going to use it. Yep, we're just going to use the back end of one of these. Give it a shake, make sure it's good. Make sure our primer is not coming out red and coming out gray. And now we're going to paint over it. And you can see all that black primer that we already had before, totally covered up now. Primer covers primer pretty well for the most part. The white primer has a hard time with it if you use white primer, but gray primer, this ivory primer does a great job of covering up its other colors as well. I even covered up red with ivory primer, and that's a tall order right there. Covering up red with anything is a very tall order. So almost done with it. I am stoked though. Oh, it's gonna be so nice to see that gem right there in the center with this all navy blue. It's gonna be great. I'm super excited for it. Alright, all my gray is empty. That's pretty much painted. Gonna let that dry while I clean out the remainder of the gray. Not gonna go too heavy on my cleaning here. There is, I didn't mention this though specifically, but Game Color specifically is flat. It is flat across the board. I haven't found one that is not flat, as a matter of fact. So what does that mean? That is that I mixed, so here's the mixture for mine, is that I kind of match its ratio that it already has with thinner. So I matched its ratio with thinner, so I thinned it out first, and then I matched it also with I have a satin clear coat as well that I put in there to kind of match the rest of our mecha colors, because our mecha colors have a satin finish in general. And so since this one did not, I gave it the satin finisher. So I did a lot of mixing to make this specific color, which has also made the paint last quite a while. If you have a finisher that is liquid based or not a spray can per se, and you feel comfortable with mixing it, it's actually can come out pretty good for some things. So I highly recommend trying it out as well for colors that are flat. Vallejo doesn't make a lot of flat colors, but when they do, they're game colors. They are game colors. Get rid of that mask, I don't need that anymore. And you can see, look at that blue. It is beautiful if you ask me. It actually might need to be shaken up a little bit more. I haven't used it in a long time. We'll see how it sprays first. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, so good looking. It's such a nice color. Yeah, it's a great color. Great color. It just took a lot of work to get it to where it is, though. And if you want it even darker, this color over a black primer is just absolutely even more fun as well. I didn't want to do a black primer for this one, though. I did want it to be a little bit lighter, because Wing Zero itself is a little bit lighter than full-on navy blue. Tall Geese 2 is like a pure navy blue from this series, or Vay 8. Vay 8 will be a black primer with this exact same color as well. Another thing to note though about game colors though is that they like to dry the tip of the needle really fast. So that's why you also want to thin them out so they don't. Oh, which actually I'm glad I mentioned that because I put some airbrush flow as well in this paint. So it does take a little bit longer to set for itself, but it's still not bad. So you can see that there's a fair amount of gloss there still. But that's just because the paint hasn't dried yet. Everywhere else still a little bit. In addition to that, oh, I'm glad on camera you can see that this needs a little bit more. So I'm not going to mess with it for a moment here, but we are pretty much done with our painting for the night. So stick with me just a little bit more and let's see that assembly. This assembly is going to be where it's going to be at tonight. It is going to be the highlight. Putting it all together because we're going to be able to put the torso together and then we're going to be able to throw on the head as well. There we go. Big old that glove taken off. Ooh, feels good. I'm going to start by actually snapping these two back together. Try not to move those too much. They probably still need like a day to cure. And we don't want to scratch the paint, so we're going to put them together. Especially because the high grade is going to require us to. But additionally, try not to move it too much. I am, now that I'm done with painting those thrusters, I'm going to go ahead and glue them into place because they don't stay put by themselves. So just going to grab out my super glue. Little dab right here on each side. This is the gel base one. Do be careful when placing it in because the issue that we have with this is that it will pull off paint as well. Now why didn't I paint the back? Well, it's not going to be seen. But I did paint the primer over it though, so it sticks in really good. But it's like, why did you not do that for the thruster? Well, the thrusters do stick in there pretty good, but they're just not great. There we go. Got our thrusters nice and flush. Didn't pull any paint off. So hey, it's a good day after all. And I am super excited to get this all together. Get the head unit on in addition to that. Alright, gonna look at this. Yeah, you can see most of the gloss now is gone actually. It's not nearly as glossy as it was before. It's still kind of sticky, so I'm gonna be very gentle. Make sure even to not get fingerprints on it because it will definitely do that. Sliding this into place. Being very careful once again. I'm going to have to look at the instructions just to make sure I put these in correctly as well. So they go in, looks like that specifically, which would make sense. That's how they normally go in. Throw them in just, they go in this portion first, like such. This is why you didn't have to paint the whole thing, is because the other pieces are going to be hidden on the inside. Almost done here. Oh, I gotta line it up, don't I? Let's try that again. There we go. Sorry I did that off camera, but push it all together. It's looking sharp, looking sharp. This is gonna go in like this specifically. Alright, let's see how our hollows look, or our hollow, excuse me, our metallic color. Look at that. There's where it's at right there, guys. That's why you use the masking tape. Didn't pull any paint off whatsoever. Yeah, they came out great. And they're all matching. That's the big thing, is that they're all matching all of this. So, and they don't peel off. Alright. Didn't paint this piece. This is the what holds the head into place. I had no desire to paint it. It's gonna be barely seen. There we go. Looking really good. We're still missing just a few pieces, which we're gonna throw on. These are the last things we painted as well. Oh, excuse me, not the last things. Our only white pieces that we had to paint tonight. There are some Gatling cannons underneath here, which I am actually not going to paint because I'm never going to let them be seen. As fun as they are, just have no desire to show them. They don't show well anyway. There's not like a mechanism that holds it up or pulls it up specifically. And then last but not least, is there one on? Oh, apparently I do need to paint some of this right here. I'll have to do that at a later time though, guys, because for one it's time, and oh, actually it's barely even noticeable. Smoke and mirrors, guys, smoke and mirrors. But the problem is that we all know it's there, so we're gonna have to redo it. We're gonna have to do it. But there's our full torso. Got our head unit now attached as well. I think it came out really, really good. In addition to that, so there's our. Once again, I love that navy blue that we use for it specifically. Oh, I did use a black primer for the head unit. How about that? And then we used the gray primer for the red down here. Whoops. But I'm gonna stick with the gray primer. It's a much richer red, and I really like the richer red that it's come out with. So thanks for tuning in tonight. Help me out here with a small little goal. That small little goal is to just get a total of 50 followers in general, so I can become affiliate for Twitch. So you know somebody else that likes Gundam, throw them our way, guys. Let's chill. Let's talk about Gundams. Let's recognize Gundam Wingsday together. In addition to that, and so tune in on Sunday. Let's talk about our next build as well as what we're going to be what we got going on for Death Scythe. Death Scythe Hell is going to be next week. In addition to that, so. Great building with you guys tonight. Hope to see you guys around. Have a wonderful evening. Don't let work stress you out. Don't let school do it either. And if you ever have a problem with all of it, just come and build with me. We'll talk to you later, guys.